everyone. Welcome to the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show here on 1410 WHLN. First time for everything, boys. We're live on the AM station this week. Bears Middlesboro playing a rematch doubleheader tonight, so we hopped on over to our brother station. Exciting times.
Yeah, we're here where Jody said Kaywood Ledford got his start. 1410 WHLN.
Is that true, Jody?
I'm pretty sure that's the truth. I don't think it was exactly here when he got his start. I think he was, according to Sean, and he's been around since Christopher Columbus hit the shores. He got his start across the street there, across from the old post office, or the post office. That's where WHLN Studios was back in the day. And
you want to hold the microphone that he used? That was the original microphone from WHLN.
I'll be darned.
So Kaywood Ledford would have talked on that microphone at some point.
Well, I feel like I'm somebody now.
Jody's life just like increased by a couple of years.
Yeah.
Following that.
When I was going to school at UK in the late 60s and Kaywood was still doing the games then, he'd come in before tip-off and he'd walk behind Kentucky's bench and say hello to Coach Rupp and Coach Hall and Coach Dickie Parsons, who's from Harlan also. And then he'd go down to his seat on press row, and when he'd get through talking to the coaches, the students would say, "Hello, Kaywood," and he'd wave at us, and it was really a kind of a neat thing to do. That's a little background on how Kaywood entered Memorial Coliseum, and we got a kick out of giving him a big hello, and he always acknowledged the students.
And to think, Joey, it's come full circle now that you're holding his microphone. Well, what a day it is today.
Amen.
Well, anyways, folks, glad to be here with you all on this beautiful Wednesday night. Lots happened in the past week since last week's show. Super Bowl, Eagles dominate the Chiefs. Did you see that happening, Chucky? Or was that what you was feeling?
I thought they could, but I still thought the Chiefs were going to win just because they're the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's how it usually plays out the last couple of years. But it's pretty good. It's a stinker of a Super Bowl.
It wasn't very fun to watch
from the beginning.
I mean,
none of it.
No, it wasn't.
The commercials.
The commercials did not live up to their normal hype this year. I'll just be honest, it kind of seemed like a regular ball game. It didn't really seem like a Super Bowl. I don't know. I just didn't get that hype out of it. Or am I underlooking?
If you remember, I predicted an Eagles victory, and enjoyed that part. But the halftime show hit an all-time low, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I agree. All-time low. I guess it depends.
What do you think about it, Rhett? You're a youngster.
I'm a Drake fan, Chucky.
Okay.
I'm a Drake fan. So that's about all. It's about all it is I need to say.
Yeah.
Listen. We're a sports talk show, and I could go down the rabbit hole of all the wrongs about the Super Bowl halftime show, but that's another story for another day.
Well, no, let's go there, Red.
You want to go there?
Let's go there. All right. Here's the thing. You can get on the internet and you can read all of these descriptions, reading deeper into that halftime show. Oh, he meant
that's
this.
A lie.
He represented this. Just watch it for what it is. Now, let me stress, I didn't like it. I don't like that. Just wasn't my style of music. I'm an old guy. But
it wasn't for me.
Welcome to the club.
I didn't see all of the political, trying to say. Now, I did say when he threw a shot at Drake, everybody saw that.
Right.
But as far as, trying to split the flag and this and that, I didn't see that. I really didn't. The production side of it, it was a well-produced show. I mean, the dancers were in sync. It was well-produced. It just, I think people are looking for a reason to complain.
There was no underlying meaning. This was a Jay-Z, Jehovah produced show. He picks the halftime show. Jay-Z does not like Lil Wayne, who got snubbed in his own town. He really doesn't like Drake. Kendrick also doesn't like Drake, and it was facilitated behind the scenes. There was no real actual like storyline. It just kind of it was what it was. Drake's gonna be sending a Molly invoice because it was all about him.
You can say it wasn't much, and it wasn't our style. But prior to that Super Bowl halftime show, the top viewed one was Michael Jackson.
Do you know why it was the most viewed halftime show ever?
Because people liked it more?
No, because of Drake. If Drake wasn't set to call Drake a pedo to the world, like probably, let's see, I bet there was more views of the halftime show than I guarantee there was the actual Super Bowl.
There probably was. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Was it a bad show?
It was about Drake. Yeah.
All right.
But I'm sure though my reasoning for calling it a bad show is, I'm sure, quite significantly different from why Jody's calling it a bad show.
I mean, I didn't think he performed bad. It just didn't feel like a Super Bowl performance. I think of extravagance.
Yeah.
A surprise guest coming out. Something big. You know, he did okay. He did what he does, but
I think
just wasn't me.
2 years ago, I mean, I thought the actual Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, I actually thought that was a pretty good. I thought that was decent.
It was, but that hits mine and Chucky.
It was more of a show.
We're back to our age group right there with
Yeah.
Eminem and Dre and all of them. You didn't like that one either, though, did you, Jody?
Jody wants George Strait.
Listen, if we can get Patsy Cline
Yes,
up
I
there
do.
next year, if we can get Patsy Cline, will you watch it then?
We're gonna dig her up.
Well, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll watch that.
Well, here's my thing. No matter what people don't understand is, and I know especially the older generation, the 50-plussers, they don't really care what I think individual people think. They're putting these shows out to appeal to the mass, not to the minority. And obviously, what I mean by that is they care more about 133 million views, regardless regardless of who you want as your entertainer. Now, be that as it may, I mean, I love George Jones. Don't get me wrong, or George Strait. But I mean, if George Strait got out there on stage, I just see a hard time pulling. I just don't feel like the 12 to 30 year olds. I just don't know if they're going to turn out, Chucky.
Well, no, I mean, I'm watching the Super Bowl. It don't matter. It don't matter who the halftime performer is. I'm watching the Super Bowl. What they're trying to do is get somebody that might not be watching the Super Bowl.
Exactly. It's all about the views.
Yeah.
It's all about the views.
But do you know what the most watched part of the Super Bowl is? Historically, every year, what the most watched part is.
Okay, but that's also probably when the majority of the people
It's not for the halftime show.
When
It's for the halftime show commercials is what most viewers watch it for.
Yeah.
They will tune in just to see the commercials at halftime. And they better be good because they cost $8 million for 30 seconds.
Would you say there's more
Whoa.
We just need to sell one of those, Jody.
Yeah.
One, and we're good.
I would say there's more,
Amen.
in terms of viewership, sports fan to non-sports fan, on the Super Bowl specifically, that the whole Super Bowl rollout, commercials, halftime, and all. Chucky, would you say there's more non-sports fans tuned in overall than they are sports fans for the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, the typical sports fan would probably have a hard time watching the Super Bowl in a crowd because of all the talking.
Right.
I mean, people just gabbing. You know, nobody's
It's a
watching.
social event.
Yeah.
There you go, Sean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, the views, and the money. And that's just the sad truth of it. Jody was telling the story. It's amazing how like stuff changes over time, and stuff that would like obviously be okay or appeal or not frowned upon 20, 30 years ago is like not even possible in today's time. Jody was telling me a story there yesterday about how you and Frank Vicini, who obviously you coached football at Cumberland, every sport at Cumberland. But the girl, go ahead and tell the story, Jay, about how you got pulled to referee a ball game. Go ahead, I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, well, Coach Vicini and I were at the VFW getting ready to start a big card game, and Ralph Roberts, who was boys coach at Cumberland at that time, came in and said, "Boys, the girls have got a game against Whitley County tonight, and referees they're not there. They're not coming, and we need you all to come over to the school and referee." And we'd had a beer, just one, and
One little one or 164 ouncer?
one
Doesn't matter, right?
regular size 12-ounce beer, I guess it was.
Oh, look at the honesty.
And we said, "Coach, we've had a beer. Do you sure you want to?" "Yeah, you boys come over there and call the game. The referees aren't coming, and we don't want to call the game off." And we said, "Well, all right, give us a few minutes to go home and get our refereeing clothes. We'll be over there." And we came over and we called the game, and it was a pretty tight game. Cumberland had some good girls teams back then. I think they had Lori Cluck and the Morris sisters, and it was two good teams going at it. And
Case in point.
Cumberland won the game, but after the game, the Whitley coach came over there and told Coach Vicini, he said, "You boys called the best game I've had called all year. Y'all did a wonderful
So
job."
this happened in what, the early 90s?
Early 90s.
All right, case in point. Chucky, could you imagine Harlan County playing Corbin at either place? We'll just go Corbin for emphasis. Harlan County at Corbin. Could you imagine three Corbin homers just getting chose at random to come officiate that ball game in today's time?
No. That's crazy.
What would happen?
I don't know what. I mean, they might refuse to play.
You're right. Give me somebody for Harlan. Harlan girls playing, Middlesboro girls district game. Could you imagine you and Eric and whoever else getting pulled out of Harlan to go referee the ball game? Sean, yeah, we'll throw Sean in the corner.
You don't want me refereeing the ball game.
It's just that's just almost unfathomable to me, is it not?
Yeah, it's crazy that you just find somebody.
Like in the 80s, Kentucky was playing in Illinois. They had a snowstorm up there, and the referees couldn't get there. And they got some fans out of the stands, some high school referees, to call the Kentucky and Illinois game. And one of them refereed it in blue jeans, and the other one had some sweatpants he wore in the game.
Speaking of referees, did you know that we have a referee? Used to be an NCAA referee that has done UK games, that is a pastor of a church in Harlan.
Really? No, I did not know that.
Reverend Tim Mills. He was an NCAA referee.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that either.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, Chucky?
No.
We'll have to get him on sometime.
I had no idea.
I'm sure he's got some stories.
Yeah, he's got a really exciting life. His adventures and what he's done. He's an amazing person. We'll have to get him up here one time for you.
Well, I have to. I sure didn't know that.
Yeah.
I sure didn't know that.
Isn't he from RJ?
Yep, that's him.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Preaches over here at the, is it the Presbyterian Church or the Episcopalian? The one that's over here on Clover Street. It's one of the two, but I don't know which one that is. I think
I get them mixed up, and I live next to one of them.
it's the one you don't.
It's the one you don't go to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anyways, well, guys, the reason why we're on WHLN tonight, Harlan County and Middlesboro having a makeup game over in Middlesboro tonight. Game's going on over on WTUK, which is why we're over here. I didn't see a score report. It was a tight girls game, probably still going on.
Yeah.
What was the last score report y'all had?
This was before we went on the air, and it was 13-11. So I don't know.
Big district matchup, nevertheless. Guys, we have this week closing out next week, and that's the end of the regular season.
That's it.
It went
Yeah.
quick. Honestly, it went
sure
very
did.
quick.
Amen. It did.
Well, being that as it may, while I bring it up, I know this weekend I post on our Bluegrass Sports Talk Show page our next competition. Brought up to us by Coach Eric Perry, the Pick'em's turn. Well, basically, you're picking all the regional winners who will go play in the state tournament. I posted each regions where every teams were standing at this point this past weekend. I mean, we'll have district tournaments literally starting on the 24th, and then the next week, March 1st, will be regional tournament time. Is that not like insane that it's happened this quick?
Whoever said time flies, they nailed it.
They wasn't kidding. Chucky, I don't know what was going on. I looked at the 13th region's RPI, and I don't know what happened with Harlan. They have Harlan with no RPI, so I wonder.
Probably don't have enough games reported. Might be a game or two missing. If I was guessing, that's what it would be.
I think this region for the past 4 or 5 years, the 13th region tournament's been great. I think it's shaping up for this year to be as tight as it's possibly been. I mean, you have about five teams that have a case, about 6 to 8 teams that have a legit. I mean, there's going to be 8 teams in the region, and there's no one that's really just a clear out to who they can't win it. I think everyone's got like a legit there's a legit upset chance in the first round. Jody.
No, who determines the RPI? Is that a computer people at the KHSAA or the sports writers or what's?
The RPI, to address all confusion, is your record, your opponent's record, and your opponent's record basically blended into one formula. So, like, if you lose to, say, a bad team, and the bad team has lost a lot, that would pull your RPI down. Or say you're a good team, you lose to a good team, but the good team is undefeated per se, it wouldn't hurt your RPI as bad, right, Chucky? Is that in theory how it's supposed to work?
Who compiles that RPI? Is that
The Kentucky High School Athletic Association.
Okay, thank you.
Now, be that as it may, when RPI happens in football, it seems to me, though, it hurts you more than it helps you. The way these matchups go, and Corbin and Bull always playing on the road.
Well, I did look at Bull County's schedule. They just put it out the other day, and they don't have any out-of-state games this year.
I noticed that. You think that has anything to do with it?
1,000%.
It'd have to be.
That's a no doubter, huh?
Yes. Because they went on the road, beat the number 12 team
in the country.
Yeah.
And it's like it's the same as they beat Rykov.
So
shout out Rykov. No offense.
We do have listeners over in Lee County, Virginia. No? We reach.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
We're on the internet. We have listeners in Germany. Listen, here's an interesting one. We've got the streams on the internet.
Yes.
We have a listener. We don't know who it is, honestly, or we don't know who it is. We have no way of knowing, but we have a listener from Germany that consistently tunes into the WHLN internet stream every single day.
Huh.
Every day. We have no idea who it is, how they found it. We're glad. We hope they're listening right now.
Absolutely.
I don't know. How do you say hello in German, Jody? I don't know.
I know we did a little switch
I
up.
know it's not Gesundheit.
No.
That's when you sneeze.
Volkswagen.
Yes.
That might be.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? That's, do you speak German?
Well, I know we switched up.
No, Sean, that's a good
You
question.
mentioned our listeners. I know we're doing YouTube and when we're on WHLN this week, but we consistently have, like, there's a listener. He's always tuning in, saying hello from not Cedar. It's in Texas, not Cedar Grove. Cedar Hill, Texas. Is that it? Cedar Hill, Texas. He's always tapping in with us. So I hope you're on here with us tonight. I don't remember his name, but he always says hello from Cedar Hill, Texas. Yeah, we're a nationwide show here on the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
We're in Germany. We're worldwide. I bet you there are people in the Gulf of America listening to us right now.
We deserve it.
Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
Well, anyways, Harlan County beat South Laurel on Friday night.
Monday.
Monday night. Yeah,
That was a good game.
Monday
Yeah, it
night.
was.
Huge win. Who's your immediate favorite right now, Chuck? If you had to pick, who's your favorite right now?
In the 13th,
Yes.
Bell.
Well,
I'm going to go with Chucky. I mean,
when you look at it, and who's all beat who, Bell's got two to HC's won against them. HC's beat South now. HC's beat Corbin. I think Bell's in the same boat. I was trying to pull up Bell's schedule too. But I want to look at Bell.
speaking of Bell, was it the last Bell Harlan game that it was the literally last half a second that Bell?
Yeah.
I wish Harlan County had won, obviously, but that was awesome in itself. It really
Did
was.
you see the score of that Bell Corbin game on Monday?
I did.
By 30, 85, 56. Which I know there was a kid. They had one kid that was out for injury. But
Corbin's had a couple of tough losses here in the last week. They got swept boys and girls
They
by
lost
Whitley.
a home game, too,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
And then South, I hope I still don't know the status on the kid that suffered the back injury. The status of his return.
From what I was hearing right after, I don't know, but he wouldn't be back for the year. But I don't know.
I've been from the way I see it, just looking at the predictions of it. I mean, I kind of think I don't really think the 52nd district matters all that much. I'm assuming it'll be Harlan County and Bell County. I think if I had to pick my regional championship right now, I would go out on a limb and I think Harlan County and Bell County will play for the regional championship because they'll be on opposite sides of the brackets.
They stand a good chance.
Take a chance.
I mean, that's a good chance.
This is something I thought I'd never say, but I agree with you, Brett.
I mean, I'm not saying that's who I want to see, but we got to be realistic sometimes.
And you also have to come out. You can also, we've said this before. Like I know last week, you could lose the 52nd district championship and get a theoretical better draw in the first round of region. We've saw it now for a couple of years. Thoughts, Chucky?
I don't know about this year.
You think it's that?
I think there's two teams that people would probably want to see the first round, and I don't think either one of those are going to be a winner.
You don't think? You don't want to say the names over there? You want to say the names over there or no?
Well, we can go through who we think is going to win each district.
Okay.
So we'll have more than likely Harlan County, Bell County,
Yes.
Knox Central,
Pineville.
North, and Clay, and South, and Corbin.
And you said that you're not.
That won't miss it far, Chuck.
Yeah.
And Whitley County
did beat Corbin. Yeah.
Whitley County's beat Corbin now. Have they pulled off? Have they swept Corbin? Yet? No, they've split with Corbin. They lost to Corbin 80-62, then beat them 58-54. Whitley County chasing also a regional appearance for the first time in near 20 years. I don't have the exact year, but it's close to it.
Believe.
That
is true.
Yeah, so, I mean, they could be an outlier in that district. You win it, you get the district championship, but then you either pull the loser of Knox and Pineville. The 51st is going to be a very entertaining district championship. I mean,
And Barberville's playing pretty good right now too.
You can't count them out one bit. Let's see, Knox and Pineville. I was looking at their series for this year, which their district just plays once. Now that I remember, the Knox Pineville game. Knox beat Pineville 98-84. Knox beat. They not played Barberville yet. Chucky? Yeah, okay. Knox beat Barberville 66-51, and in the Pineville Barberville series, Pineville beat Barberville 78-61. Maybe we've talked about this show before. Did y'all realize their district they only play once?
No, I didn't know that. Does the
They play twice, but they only count the first game as
No, they only play
for
no,
seeding purposes in
no.
the district.
They only play once for their district play.
does the North and Clay district still draw?
I don't think they drew last. I think that's been. I don't think they drew last year. I think it goes by seed now. Their district.
Okay.
I do like how the state though leaves it up to each district on how they want to decide who comes out of it.
It's odd.
Do you like that they get to decide, or do you think everybody should be on the same? Everybody should be on the same.
I think everybody should be on the same format. I don't see why you wouldn't play twice. I don't see why you wouldn't play a district rival twice.
You think it hurts you, Jody?
Well, probably a little more excitement for the games, and unless you're not you've got a local opponent, a traditional rival, and then if your extra games against Dawson Springs or somebody, that's not going to stir up much excitement.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good for a home and homes, just with a rival.
Natural order
yeah.
of things.
Does any other regions do the way we do baseball district matchups, back to back home and homes each day?
Yeah, there's some of them that do, and then there's some of them that just play once.
Now, do we have? I just out of curiosity, do we have that set up like as a region that everyone go by? Because I just noticed everyone does the back to back district opponents.
I would assume it's a regional thing, but I don't know if it's a district. I don't know if that's a district thing or a region. I think it might be a district decision.
But I like the way we do that. It adds some intensity for that, especially that second game the next day if you're coming off a close loss or.
Well, I tell you what was terrible was 5 or 6 years ago, they were double headers.
In the same day?
On a Monday. Yeah.
That'd be all God.
Like, say Harlan and Harlan County's playing, it would be at one of them and just play a doubleheader. So imagine if you lose on a walk-off the first game. 15 minutes, boys.
Get it ready.
No time to dwell about the loss.
First pitch of the next game, somebody gets beamed right in the.
Yeah, I mean now they were trying to do the same thing, with pitching.
Yeah.
But it was a bad setup, and so they went to the back-to-backs, which is a whole lot better.
Guys, we're going to get to our first break here on the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show tonight on 1410 WHLN. We'll be right back with you.
Are you in the market for a new ride? Then look no further than Tim Short Ford of Hazard, your trusted local car dealership. With a wide selection of top-notch vehicles, we've got something for everyone. We're open from business Monday through Friday from 9 to 7 and Saturdays from 9 to 5. Need assistance? Give us a call at 877-821-4853. That's Tim Short Ford, located conveniently on the Hal Rogers Parkway in Hazard. Attention Harlan County. When your car needs expert care, there's only one name you need to know, Rex Tech Tire and Auto, located in Baxter. At Rex Tech, they're known for exceptional service and unmatched automotive knowledge. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil changes, or major repairs, they get the job done right the first time. The team of skilled technicians goes above and beyond to keep you on the road safely and confidently. If you've got questions, they've got answers. Clear, honest, and professional every step of the way. Rex Tech, 573-4110.
We're back, folks. Bluegrass Sports Talk Show here on 105.1. I'm sorry, 1410 WHLN. You gotta get used to that. Gotta get used to that. So you give me the eyes.
I'm pretty used to that one. I've been on 1410 quite a bit in the last year, so I want
to end it always in live stream.
Yeah, Green Dragon Radio.
Nevertheless, glad to be back with everybody this evening. We missed the first part of the show. We was talking about high school basketball action. District tournament coming up very soon for boys and girls. We just got a final on the Harlan County Millsboro girls game. What was it?
38-36.
Yeah, 48-36 Middlesboro. So that'll be Middlesboro's second district win on the girls' side, I believe. And Harlan County will be playing for their second win Friday against Harlan at Harlan County.
So right now, is there a tie between HC and Middlesboro for the third seed? I'm assuming.
No. Right now, Harlan County is fourth. Middlesboro is third.
And Bell County is 1, and Harlan Independent is 2.
I believe. Yes.
It's confusing. We'll have more on that. We'll have more.
Bell has 1 loss. Harlan has 2 losses.
We'll have more on that when we get back next week. It can get confusing when trying to decipher through all the different.
It's going right down to the wire.
It is. I think Bell County has sole possession of first place. Harlan County is in second. Harlan Independent in third, and Middlesboro in fourth for the boys. Harlan City hosting the 52nd District Tournament this year. Last time Harlan hosted the district tournament was, I think, let's see, is it 2025 now? Was that the COVID year or the non-COVID year, Chuck?
It was the COVID year, I believe.
Was that the before or after the switch between Bell County and Middlesboro? That raised some questions due to a floor renovation. Was it before or after?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I want to say it before.
I want to say it was before, too.
Sean, just actually, does it seem like, I don't know, since, not just with everything, but especially with high school sports and the radio, does it not seem like everything's kind of like flown these past 4 or 5 years, especially since COVID, or am I just making that up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gone fast.
Because I could have swore that, I remember, when they wouldn't let nobody into the games, and it was not even half capacity, and you was like, well, am I good to get into the game? You're checking with everybody and everybody getting passes and such. Wild times we lived through.
So weird.
Sean, what was looking back, what was for the radio and covering the high school sports, what's one of your COVID sports memories? Now we bring it up.
I mean, I don't really have a COVID sports memory, but as far as radio and the COVID time, everybody was shutting down. Businesses were, they weren't open. They were losing money. They weren't going to be able to survive. It was bleak times for everyone. But it seemed like everybody drew back to the local radio.
Yeah.
That was their comfort zone. So Jeff had business plans and got us through it. And I mean, we did all right.
That's where we got our start, wasn't it, Jody?
Yeah, right there in the garage.
Right there.
I would say that COVID probably led to a lot of the live streams that you see now, especially at ball games.
Yeah.
Man, it's the NFHS had said even before COVID that I think they had like a 7-year plan or something that all games would be streamed live, and I thought, that's ridiculous. There's no way. And then COVID happened, and everybody's like, we got to get these games on. People's got to watch these games.
And now literally you can if you search hard enough, you can watch about any high school game you want to watch.
You can watch, yeah, especially basketball and football. Baseball's, it's just a tough sport to stream.
Yeah.
Without multiple cameras.
Yeah, most high school venues don't have that camera opportunity, and some people try to stream on their game changers. The game changer is awful.
Yeah, I mean there's just not a good view that you could set up one camera and stream a baseball game. Well,
you can't, and it's hard. I mean, baseball is very, very hard to do camera work on.
Yeah,
because you can set one camera up, but that ball disappears. If you've got the whole field in one shot, you've lost the ball. And then if you're trying to follow a ball that's going through the air with a camera, that's hard.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. We've done it though, and it's fun. But
and then even if you are following the ball, once it's caught, I mean, there's so much going on back here.
You have to guess what base the ball's going to, and then normally you can tell, but it's you end up missing. You got to find the fine line of zoomed in so you can see versus zoomed out so you're not going to miss any of the action. It's hard to do baseball and softball, but it's fun. It's my favorite to do.
Well, yeah, I agree. But let's get to the gravy. Let's get to what everybody wants to talk about.
Get to the what?
The gravy.
Okay.
Get,
I didn't know what you said.
What it said, like I said.
Are you about to mention the Mamba?
I'm about to mention the Mountain Mamba, Trent Noah, and the Kentucky Wildcats pulling out the brooms and sweeping the Tennessee Volunteers last night in Lexington. And for the second time this year, Kentucky has seemingly controlled the game from start to finish against the Vols. Tennessee led only twice last night for less than a minute. I think they led 9-8, and then I think they led like 45-44 at one point. But other than that, it was bad on Cats, was it not?
But you need to give credit where credit's due, honestly now. Kentucky won by how many points, Jody?
11.
And how many points did Trent score?
Trent had 11.
Trent won the game. If he hadn't have been there, it would have been a tied game.
He'd still be playing.
That's right.
I'm
And
going.
that's the second game that he's done that in. The last game, they won by 3, and Trent had 3 points. Just,
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'm just going to go ahead and open up the can of worms.
Go ahead.
For what it's worth, I mean,
Can you believe Rhett would open a can
I
of worms?
can't
of all
believe that,
people?
Rhett.
I'm so happy. First and foremost, just so happy for Trent, proud of Trent. I was texting him after the game last night, and everybody's just so ecstatic. He was getting a lot of love on Field of 68. Jeff Goodman and those guys. Field of 68 popped out at the game and then hosted their podcast from inside Rupp Arena last night. Did you know that, Chucky?
No.
After the game, yeah, got Trent on. He was getting a lot of love. I think a lot of us was in high question about Pope and Trent getting to play, and Trent didn't play the first 5 SEC games either this season. And I think Trent's worked his way into the rotation to where I don't see how Coach Pope can keep him off the court. What's your thoughts?
I do too. He's a solid player out there. He doesn't do anything to embarrass himself or the team. He's a contributor. He hustles. He gets rebounds. He makes his shots when he shoots. I'm just tickled to death for him.
He belongs on the court.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, absolutely.
But let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If he wasn't from Harlan County, if you hadn't watched him grow up, if he wasn't your cousin, if you hadn't known him forever, would you? If he was just some guy that transferred in from California, would you still say the same thing?
Well, me being the person that I am, and been a diehard Kentucky fan long before Trent has ever gotten there, I deeply follow our off-season recruiting and additions and what we do. And it's almost fitting with how he's been brought to this roster with a group of guys to where really there was a bunch of unknowns prior to them coming here. Like, I had to go out and like actually, so who is this guy? Ansley Almanor, Fairleigh Dickinson. To be, if you judge by me in his past off season, Trent was really the only real exciting addition that we had because I'm sure I'm like anybody else, and I was underlooking it. I didn't think we was going to be as good as what we was this year. I didn't know how these guys would pan out. I just knew who Lamont Butler was because he was on the San Diego State team that went to the Final Four. I knew he really wasn't a shooter. Jackson Robinson came off the bench for BYU, and they got beat out by Duquesne in the first round. And then the only thing I knew about Fairleigh Dickinson was that they beat Purdue there 2 years ago. So hindsight's 2020. Trent was probably, and to answer your question, if I wouldn't have known Trent, and if you go by recruiting profiles and under the weather, and him being a 3-star, I mean, I probably would have questioned it.
Really?
I'm sure. I'm just the honesty of it. I mean, if at any point if I ever saw Cal recruit a 3-star, though, I'm sure everybody would be like, "What in the world's he doing?" Right, Chucky?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just that.
He's worked out
He's
great.
lost it.
Yeah, he's lost it. But I mean, Trent's that just goes to show Trent's one of those players though where you can't always judge players by their stars.
No, he was.
He
I
belonged at the
always felt
ball
like-
game.
I always felt like Trent was under recruited.
Yes.
Even though he was committed to South Carolina, I thought, and that's an SEC school, and they had a really good season last year. I still always felt like watching Trent as much as we have that he was under recruited.
And I know, and the thing is too is like he got out and worked on his own. He played on a good AAU circuit, but it does make you wonder though if Trent wasn't. I love Harlan County is my home. This is not a knock against Harlan County. This is the way I thought people view us. If he wasn't playing on Harlan County's roster last year, and say he's at GRC or Douglas or Scott County or one of those schools between Richmond and Louisville and I-75, or sorry, 75 to 64. If he was on one of those, Chucky, would his recruitment and, well, his analysis from the sports media have been different, you think?
I think so. For one, it's just access.
Yeah.
If somebody's in Lexington playing Kentucky, they can drive over and watch him on a Thursday night.
Because it makes you wonder. Like Reed. Reed eventually actually picked up a 5-star. He was a McDonald's All-American, and I mean, London, even though for us ain't that far away, but something about being on that internet access and just being 50 minutes down the road from Lexington, it's different.
Oh, it's a lot closer to Lexington than us.
You think? I mean, if Reed was at Bell or HC or Letcher or Perry, would Reed have got a 5-star tag by his name?
Well, there was a picture.
What do y'all think?
You got to give Kyle a lot of credit.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they schedule games all over the state, played in the King of the Bluegrass, the LIT, several more Ashland tournament. They played in a lot of prestigious in-state tournaments.
Oh, absolutely.
And they played a tough schedule.
And I agree, but I feel like just our name and where we're from, we just don't get the respect and notoriety that we deserve.
Well, I think he'll help put us on the map.
What was you saying though, Chucky?
Yeah, there was I think it was from Perry Central, a picture where they were playing against Rockcastle County, and Coach Minjone had signed somebody from Rockcastle County already, and went down to watch him play, on a weeknight game, and the boy from Perry Central just happened to be pitching against Rockcastle County that night and picked up a scholarship.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, he had never seen him before. He was just going to watch, show a little love for somebody he'd already recruited.
Just having my pure chance.
Yeah.
In the right place at the right time.
Yeah. So, but back to the Kentucky-Tennessee game though. Trent had a huge impact on the game. Thought Kentucky played good team ball again. They didn't necessarily knock the lights out. They made some big shots in clutch times. Shout out Kobe Brea, but it was weird to me because before the game, I thought, like down in Knoxville, I know that they didn't have Robinson and Carr, but their primary offensive production was still there. And Robinson had a really good game in Knoxville. I was really worried with Jackson Robinson not playing because I think he's not even necessarily he's not their leading scorer, but he's such a crucial part to their offense. And I thought him being out was going to be a big factor, and Carr still pretty banged up. I didn't know how well our offense would be, and to be honest, they've proven to me now twice that they can beat teams like Tennessee in grudge match physical type ball games, and they still ended up scoring 78 points. So, I'm sorry, 75 points, 75-64. I didn't think they could beat Tennessee the past two ways they've beaten Tennessee. I thought they were going to be able to score in the 80s to beat them both games, and they beat them scoring twice. But also Tennessee can't score, Chucky.
Tennessee, yeah, they're not.
I was messing with one of my Tennessee buddies. I was like, guys, your all's basketball team is Your all's basketball team is the basketball version of Kentucky's football team. All defense and no offense.
That's the truth. Yeah, they just struggle. It just seems like there's a little hitch in their giddy up on offense sometimes.
I mean, I don't think this also makes you realize that Dalton Connect was a lot better too. What people realize. I'm gonna make a hot take here, and I had some Tennessee before Jody says that I'm just on the blue Kool-Aid. I say this statement. I had a few Tennessee.
You wouldn't say that, would you?
Yep.
I had a few Tennessee fans actually tell me this. Indiscreet though, because I won't say their names because there's some that's the great Rick Barnes could do no wrong. But Rick Barnes has been coaching for how many years, Chucky?
Oh, a long time.
It's in the 30s.
Yeah.
All right. This man's been coaching for 30 years, and it ain't like he's coached at nobody's either. Texas, Tennessee, others. Oops. He is the second most active winningest coach. And sure, wins are great. Regular season success is solid. But at the end of the day, it's all about the trophy cases and what you've done. Rick Barnes has been coaching for 30-some years.
Probably.
Roundish. He's been to one Final Four in all of those years. And it just so happens the one Final Four he did go to, he had debatably the best scorer of all time on his team in Kevin Durant.
Who just scored his 30,000th NBA career
So,
this week.
is Rick Barnes an overrated basketball coach, Chucky? When you look at, and he's had some good teams at Tennessee too.
I don't think he's overrated. I don't think anybody's putting him in like a top 10 list.
You don't think so?
And he's got he's the active coach with the second most wins.
Yes.
Is Tom Izzo the first?
No. There's
Patino
and Barnes and no, it was Patino. I thought, is Patino and Cal tied?
I don't know.
Let me pull up active head coaches. But anyway,
Who's this Cal guy to speak of? Not familiar with it.
hey,
Don't ask me.
Does she coach the women's volleyball team or something, maybe? Or
I think he's a swimming coach.
I don't know.
well, I'll just say this. Rick Pitino, man, I think he's proven. I mean, he's currently proven it as to why. Like you talk about a guy that's survived the test of time and stayed relevant. What he's doing at St. John's, and he has revived a dead program, has he not, Chucky?
Yeah, absolutely. And your boy Danny Hurley has lost his mind.
He's your boy, but he's a comedy show.
I mean, he went bananas after beating Creighton.
He was going two rings.
He was waving bye to like 14 fans.
Yeah, who talks trash to Creighton?
He does.
I don't know, man.
Is he the biggest person?
He's on a little losing streak. That's a big game for him.
He is really.
They've dropped out the top 25, by the way, for the first time in 3 years.
I want to say they're like 16-6 or 17-6.
This morning, by the way, actually, we're going to pause this conversation, come back. We got more college ball to talk about, especially the Cats.
Just put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. We'll be right back.
Attention Harlan County. When your car needs expert care, there's only one name you need to know, Rex Tech Tire and Auto, located in Baxter. At Rex Tech, they're known for exceptional service and unmatched automotive knowledge. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil changes, or major repairs, they get the job done right the first time. The team of skilled technicians goes above and beyond to keep you on the road safely and confidently. If you've got questions, they've got answers. Clear, honest, and professional every step of the way. Rex Tech, 573-4110. Are you in the market for a new ride? Then look no further than Tim Short Ford of Hazard, your trusted local car dealership. With a wide selection of top-notch vehicles, we've got something for everyone. We're open from business Monday through Friday from 9 to 7 and Saturdays from 9 to 5. Need assistance? Give us a call at 877-821-4853. That's Tim Short Ford, located conveniently on the Hal Rogers Parkway in Hazard.
We're back, folks. Bluegrass Sports Talk Show here on 1410 WHLN. Continuing with our discussion on college basketball and everything going on. Talk Cats, big victory last night. A lot of games. UConn, as Chucky was saying, was talking. UConn beats Creighton, and Dan Hurley thought he was back.
Oh my gosh! I mean, he's just. I don't know. I don't know about him.
So right before we went to this, I'll circle back to Kentucky, Tennessee in a minute because I didn't want to talk about the bracketology. Kind of the odd part with how the tournament set up this year based off their locations. Now, there was no updated today. This was yesterday morning at 9 a.m. So prior to yesterday's games, Kentucky beat Tennessee in Knoxville. By the way, that game for Kentucky yesterday made Kentucky's 9th quad 1 win. Them and Auburn has 10. Kentucky's got 9. The only thing really basically setting Kentucky back is the couple of their unranked losses. But Kentucky is there's really nobody else for Kentucky to beat, is there, Chucky?
No.
You've beat Tennessee, who's ranked 5th twice. You've beat Duke, who's ranked 4th. You've beat Florida, who's ranked 3. You've took Alabama to 105 to 96 shootout. You play them again next weekend. Kentucky's got the resume. And me and Jody was kind of arguing back and forth with what they would finish up as seed-wise. And I think Kentucky, no matter how they finish up, they're going to finish on the 3-4 line. That last night win helped their cause, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Another big RPI get. To be honest, I'm still sticking with that. I think a 2 seed's outside of the reach unless they went on a big run and only lost maybe 1 or 2 other remaining games and won the SEC tournament. Then maybe. I don't think a 1 seed's attainable at all. I think a 2 seed's not as far off as I think, but I think they're going to stick on the 3-4 line. What do y'all think?
Well, who they got games left with? I know they got to play Auburn.
Well, here's the thing is like
That's a chance to move up the seed line.
here's the thing is they ain't coming off the 1. I don't think Kentucky's losses necessarily affect their seeds, but I do think their wins can. They have at Alabama and Auburn at home. They have another top 25 matchup with Missouri to end the season. If you could beat Chucky, if Kentucky beat both, if Kentucky managed to beat both Alabama and Auburn, what does that do to their seed line?
Have to move them up some.
Yeah, I'd move them up some. I don't know if they could get to a 2.
It'd be tough. That's what I'm saying. I kind of feel like Kentucky's on the 4-3 line no matter what they do, unless they had a run in the SEC tournament. And with the way the SEC is this year and the way they've judged it by the past, a lot of times your seed in the tournament's already been chosen prior to that championship game on Sunday. We've saw it before. Kentucky beat A&M that one year and still had a lower tournament on the selection show that same evening.
Yep.
That
is strange how that works out sometimes.
Jody, I know we talked about it. Your thoughts kind of changed any bit at all? Do you agree with me? What's your seed projection for Kentucky?
Right now, I'd say they're probably a solid 4, maybe a 3 seed.
I don't think they can do any better or worse. I kind of feel like that's where they're going to end up regardless.
Yeah, I think probably 3's their ceiling. I would think, unless somebody just has a little collapse.
Yeah. Which, if you look at the standings right now for the SEC, in the rate, I think it's basically the race for the 4 seed. Because in the conference, you got Alabama and Auburn, who's both 10-1. I think they have it locked up. Florida and A&M are both 8-3. And that they're your top 4. Kentucky, Tennessee, both outside the 4 line right now. Kentucky and Tennessee both 2 games back from the 4 line. A&M, who's at 8-3. Florida, who's at 8-3. Ole Miss at 7-4. Missouri. Where did Missouri basketball come from this year?
Like their football.
Like
They
what-
just come out of nowhere.
Chucky, you think it's because like they're just the most North and West SEC team that no one really like cares about Missouri?
I mean, Missouri. I mean, what have they been doing? What's going on in Missouri?
What is going on in Mizzou?
Something good's going
What's-
on out there.
Has their NIL been like? I don't know.
They've also lost 2 straight, by the way.
Missouri's known as the Show Me State, aren't they? Isn't that their nickname?
Yeah.
So they're showing them the money out
Show
there.
me the money, but I mean, football and basketball both is just really.
Kentucky. Here's where Kentucky's losses hurt them though in the tournament. They've lost that loss to Ole Miss hurt, especially for tiebreaker. That Ole Miss 7-4, Missouri 7-4, and you still need A&M and Florida to lose. But if A&M and Florida, if you finish with the same record as A&M or Florida, you have the tiebreaker over them. That's where their wins. That's where their wins over them are huge.
That player that got hurt from Florida last night hurt his knee. Did you hear anything on him?
I didn't watch their
How
game
he's
last.
doing?
I didn't watch their game last night against Mississippi State. I know they won, but who got hurt?
One of their big forwards.
Now they have like 4 guys that are like 6'11".
One of those guys got hurt his
No,
knee.
they Chucky. Their back courts or their front court's insane. How big
And
they
they've
are.
got that one boy. Is he redshirting? That's like
7.
7'9" or whatever he is.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, we're that big. I feel like it's about impossible to move right. I don't know. But let's see. Just looking at the lines, because obviously it's a battle for the 4 spot. A&M's at 8-3 right now, playing really good ball. By the way, they got Arkansas at home, at Mississippi State. They got Tennessee coming to College Station. They got Vandy at home. They got at Florida, Auburn at home, and LSU at LSU to end it. So, I mean, they got some meat of their schedule coming forward.
Carl Ravitch got last night in the who was the next game after Kentucky? Was it A&M, and who played after Kentucky? Tennessee last night.
Who played after
Texas. I don't know.
Texas and Alabama.
Yeah, regardless, Carl Ravitch was doing the announcing, and I told y'all this a few weeks ago, but Carl Ravitch got. He said he gave the SEC's out of conference record, to start the season. He's like 128-34, and then he said, but since January 4th, the SEC, January 4th until Tuesday, the SEC is 82-82.
What? What do you mean by that?
That's because they're beating each other.
They're playing.
That's the right.
He said since he'd saw somebody just goofing around,
Yeah.
trying to put it out there and he said since January 4th, the SEC is just 82-82, which they've only played conference games.
Right.
So
Yep.
if one wins, another one
person
has to
loses.
Every time somebody wins,
And he really took that as like a big stat.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, talking about this was yesterday morning at 9 a.m. Getting back to that, and it's very interesting when I talk about Kentucky's 3-4 line seed for people that are wondering where's Kentucky going to end up. It's really weird for the 3-4s this year in a way. There's not really a good location. So if Kentucky was in the South and you're on the 3-4 line, the South region, the 3 line, Cleveland is the best. Here's the thing. I'll give you the best one first. Cleveland is the closest venue you're going to be able to possibly play on the 3-4 line, no matter what. So if you're in the 3 seed in the South, you're playing at Cleveland. If you're the 4 or the 5, you're going to Seattle. That's for the South region. Okay, in the West, not really any better. If you're a 4 or a 5, you're going to Providence. And if you're the 3, you're going to Denver. In the Midwest, if you're a 4 or a 5, you're going to Providence. If you're a 3, you're going to Milwaukee. And then finally in the East, If you're a 4 or a 5, you're going to Seattle, Chucky. And if you're a 3, you're going to Denver.
So Seattle, Denver, Milwaukee, Providence.
That's
Which one of those would you rather?
outside of Cleveland.
Yeah.
I guess Milwaukee's the next closest, right?
Probably.
Milwaukee's got to be closer than Providence, right?
Probably.
Because Milwaukee's just right up above Chicago, right?
Yeah. North of Chicago.
I mean, it ain't far from Chicago, I don't think, though, anyway, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
It's an easy trip, right?
But remember what Patino said about Kentucky fans. Or one of the things he said about them. I don't care if Kentucky's playing on the moon. Kentucky fans will find a way to get there.
I think, even where were they? Where'd they get beat at last year by Oakland? Was that in Indianapolis?
I don't know.
I want to say it was.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, even though for all regions, though, don't that seem kind of like far there's not really like a good travel for any of those regions. Geographically ain't lining
I'm
up.
sorry for Brian Milam after that game, and he was out in front of the arena there, and he was kind of searching for a way to describe what just happened, and he was struggling. He knew that Oakland loss was not supposed to happen under any circumstances.
And he was doing that game, by the way, in Iowa, because remember he traveled with Morehead State out to Iowa, talking about the Kentucky game. Anyways, so as of yesterday, by the way, let's run through the bracketology as of yesterday prior to the Tennessee game. So yesterday, Mr. Lenardi had Kentucky, Chucky, on the 4 line in the Midwest region. No, I'm sorry. The 4 line in the East region. The East region was loaded. You want to hear this?
Do you give Joe Lenardi, is he your go-to bracketologist?
I mean, he's got to be, right, Chucky? Is there anybody close to him?
No.
What's his name on CBS that tried? Not Jesse Palmer.
Gilman?
No.
Good.
What is his name?
No, he don't do.
Palmer. Not Palmer. There's some guy on CBS. Jerry Palm. Jerry Palm tries to do something. Anyways, so yesterday, the East region.
This is Joe Lenardi.
Joe Lenardi as of yesterday morning. You ready for this? Duke at the 1. Florida the 2. Texas Tech the 3. Kentucky the 4. Michigan the 5. Duke the 1 in the 8-9 game, UConn and West Virginia. Louisville at the 7. So in one region,
Same region?
Duke, UConn, Michigan the 5, Kentucky the 4.
No way.
Yes. Texas Tech was the 3. They have Louisville at the 7, Texas the 10, Florida the 2. That was the East region.
No. They got to break that up.
So you're telling me you could have Duke playing UConn in the second round, Kentucky playing Michigan.
And where would that be?
What,
That second round game?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
It's like a home game for Duke.
But I mean, well, how would you feel about that? How would you feel about that one, Chucky?
I mean, they're not very good, but you don't know what's going to happen in the tournament.
No.
I have no idea.
I mean, UConn has had I guess in the past 10 years, UConn's had mediocre seasons and go win a national title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that's just the East region alone. If you listen to the East region, you're like, well, who's left in the tournament?
Yeah, really.
That's all it is.
I mean, you got Auburn and Alabama left.
I mean, if anybody made a run for it, so Jody, Louisville, a 7 seed in Cleveland, taking on Texas, they'd play Florida in the second round. Would you like playing Florida in the second round?
I'm just glad to be in there this year. It's been a while since the Dirty Birds have made the tournament, so
I think Louisville has like March Madness run potential.
they're kind of flying under the radar, but they're having a wonderful season.
Well, because they kind of have that like storyline about them. There's always a team that has some type of like weird scenario, and Louisville's is they've won 9 games the past 2 seasons, and you got Pat Kelsey as an up and comer, a whole team of transfers. They really wasn't getting a whole lot of preseason love. What was their preseason pick though in the ACC, Chucky? It wasn't very high, was it?
No, and that too is, sometimes I think the 2 sometimes gets an easier path than the 1.
Sometimes.
Especially if you get a good 8-9, and then you've got a 10-7 upset.
Yeah.
With that 10. So who was the?
Okay, would you rather be Florida? Hold up. Would you rather be Florida playing Louisville or Texas, or would you rather be Duke playing UConn or West Virginia?
Yeah.
Who would you rather be there?
That's Florida.
You'd rather be Florida every way.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's insane. That's insanity. That's equivalent to when Wichita had to play Kentucky in the second round.
Yeah.
That might be the worst missed seed of all time, putting Kentucky on the 8 line. But I thought they did that on purpose.
They say they don't take any. They do.
They have to.
They do.
So that's the East region. That might be the most loaded region of all time if that actually happened on Selection Sunday.
Oh, 1,000%.
All right, Midwest. Purdue's a joke, by the way. Purdue lost. I'm so glad. I don't even like Michigan, but I'm so glad Michigan beat them yesterday. Alabama the 1, Purdue the 2, which ain't going to happen. Iowa State had dropped to a 3. Kansas the 4, Marquette the 5. What do you think about that one, Chucky?
I know they've struggled a lot, but I still think Kansas is a good team if they can get it together.
You reckon there's just some cancerous issues on that team?
With the SEC going to get 12 or 13 bids, they can't pair them up against another SEC school. So I'm sure that's affecting some of this seeding and first round matchups.
Look at the contrasting difference between Alabama's 8-9 game versus Duke's. So Duke they had it playing yesterday, UConn or West Virginia. Alabama playing the winner of New Mexico and St. Mary's. What, Chucky? Help me understand.
Yeah.
So Alabama the 1, Purdue's not going to be the 2 seed. They've fought, but Purdue the 2 playing the winner of Utah State and Mississippi State. If Mississippi State and Purdue played right now in the regular season, I'd pick Mississippi State to win. Mississippi State's good. They're physical. They can score. I would take Mississippi State over Purdue right now. What about you all?
I think a lot of people would.
I mean, that's not even hard. If there was ever a year for Iowa State to get out of Iowa State playing Illinois, probably in the 3-6.
Where are the Cyclones?
You say that, sure enough, they get bounced. Kansas. I would take Kansas probably still over Marquette and Providence, Rhode.
Yeah.
And then I think Alabama would come out of that region, though. I think Alabama. Everyone rides Auburn, but I think Alabama might be the best team in the country. They can score, they can get up and down the court, and they can defend pretty decently.
I was thinking that way, too.
Auburn's got to score.
Alabama's going to be a tough out.
Yeah. In the West, it's going to change, too. In the West, he had Tennessee the 1, A&M the 2. Both Tennessee and A&M lost yesterday. Arizona the 3, Wisconsin the 4. Wasn't Arizona unranked like 2 weeks ago?
That's a weak region.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
I mean, put some of those East boys in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's mix it up a little, Jeff.
A&M, Tennessee, A&M, Arizona, Wisconsin's now a 4 seed, and Ole Miss the 5. Out of those first 5, I don't know if I trust any of those to make a Final Four. If Tennessee ever wanted a year to make it, that might be that is the region of no scoring. Tennessee can't score. A&M can't score. Can Arizona score?
No.
Arizona can't score. Wisconsin definitely can't score. Ole Miss is the 5, so they might be the best offensive team in that region. And then Tennessee playing the winner of Ohio State and Gonzaga. Who would win? Did Kentucky break Gonzaga, by the way?
I don't know that Gonzaga. I don't know
if they were ever that good this year.
Yeah.
I think they're in about 3rd or 4th place in the West Coast Conference.
It's St. Mary's.
And, San Francisco maybe, and Santa Clara.
San Francisco's not projected in the field. I don't know. I'll look at that in a minute. But then finally, the South region. Auburn the 1, Houston the 2, Michigan State the 3, who got beat by Indiana yesterday in lame duck
Woodson.
St. John's the 4, and Memphis the 5 for that region. The 8-9 in that game is Oregon Baylor, and the 7-10 is Missouri Nebraska. I would almost if I'm Houston, I think I'd rather play Missouri or Nebraska versus Oregon or Baylor. Oregon's good.
Yeah, Oregon's good.
I would say that'd be the second strongest region. From what
Who was I hearing for that Indiana job?
I think didn't they were
Bird.
they were asking Dusty May about it, but Dusty May said he liked it in Michigan.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Have you saw pictures of him, by the way? Like, I don't know if the stress hit that man hard. Like, when he looked like he still had some black in his hair at Florida Atlantic. That man's hair now is Snow White.
What's our boy Shirts been up to this year? What's
He's at St. Louis.
He's coaching in the Atlantic 10. He left Indiana State, got the job at St. Louis, and they're in Atlantic 10. I saw him play the other night briefly. They were 13-9, and then I think they're in fourth place in that conference.
I mean, that is a pretty is it a substantial jump though? What was Indiana State in the Missouri Valley, the MVC maybe?
I think so.
The MVC to the A10. How do you rate that jump?
Well,
Is that far up the ladder? Is that
it's kind of a semi-lateral move, but he's, you don't know what kind of money St. Louis offered him. That's floats the boat these days.
I'm happy for him though.
Yeah, I mean the conference is probably about the same, but I mean I hadn't heard anything out of Indiana State between Larry Bird and Shirts.
That's been a long time.
And I've seen,
Well,
St. Louis has had who was their coach?
Travis Ford
Was
there
Rick?
for a
Did
while.
Rick Majerus go there for a while?
You might be right. I'm not sure.
I think Majerus might have had some good teams there.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then also too, just the recruiting. I mean, you got St. Louis area, Kansas City.
Where is Indiana State?
It's in
Indiana State.
shoot, that's a good question.
Case in point is
Yeah.
Jody
Jody don't know.
Jody don't know.
It's irrelevant.
And that's the point is who you. I mean, like, look who you recruit. Like, what type of pipeline do you have to recruit at Indiana State? What is your recruiting pitch if you're at Indiana State? Other than we had Larry Bird 40 years ago. And the thing is, like, if you're worth a count at all in the state of Indiana, you got Indiana, Purdue. I mean, then you got Michigan. The Michigan schools right above you. Indy, like
Notre Dame.
Like, there's just nowhere to. You're just not. It's a hard. It's like it's been a very hard job. But I mean, for what it's worth, though, he got snubbed last year. Indiana State should have been in the tournament.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
I don't know how you justify keeping that.
Yeah, they finished runner-up in the NIT.
St. John's has rallied from 10 down to take a 1-point lead with 30 seconds left at Villanova.
And you talk about somebody that's failed after
Jay Wright left.
Jay Wright. Villanova is just.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard. Like,
they've fallen off the mountain.
was he the program though?
They were at
Before
the top.
Jay Wright being at Villanova though.
Rolly Massimino.
Yeah.
They won a championship. They're in Lexington, Kentucky. They beat Georgetown in '85, maybe.
Sounds right. I think so.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, just actually, I was looking back at this board. You know how sometimes we talk about with all the new conference realignment game.
Terre Haute, Indiana.
All right.
Indiana
There you go,
State.
Jody.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, Jody knew. Conference games we never asked for. Duke playing California at 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine being in Berkeley, California, and flying all the way to Durham, North Carolina to play Duke at 9 o'clock. East
It'd
Coast
be
time.
that'd be,
That's 6 o'clock Pacific time.
yeah, 9 o'clock Eastern is 6 o'clock Pacific, yeah.
Does a team like Cal basketball, do they have private plane? You think, or do they have to?
I would almost feel like Cal's a pretty financially stable school. Wouldn't you think?
How much is it to charter
I
a
don't know if
plane from
anything's
California?
financially stable in California right now.
How much would it be to charter a plane from California to Durham?
That's a great question. So I mean, they're flying in. Is there an airport in Durham? Where do you think they're flying into?
Yeah, there's
You think they're flying directly into Durham?
Yeah,
Is there a regional airport there?
I think so.
I mean, what?
Raleigh, Durham.
Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah. That's not far.
So what?
Right, they do.
You get on a plane, and I wonder if does Berkeley, you reckon, have an airport?
I've flown into the airport in Raleigh. I know there's an
I-
airport in Raleigh.
I feel like for that flight, you're going to fly from California probably to Denver. And I wonder if there's a flight probably from Denver to Raleigh. Those are two international airports. You reckon there is?
Probably.
Or you think you get another connect? You have to get another connector?
Probably either Dallas or Atlanta.
I mean, that's a heck of a flight, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, unless you've chartered a plane.
I'm glad we just brought this up because now that we've discussed it, how has the transition to the ACC have been for basketball for the West Coast schools? Well, for this year, though, if you judge by conference record, is this the worst outside of Duke basically pulling up the rear and Clemson good, Louisville having a good year? Is this the worst ACC ever?
Long time.
Has it ever
Right,
been this
Jody?
weak?
I would, yeah, many moons, as the chief would say.
Your three worst teams in the conference, Boston College, North Carolina State, and Miami, are 2-10 all apiece. Notre Dame 4-8, Syracuse 5-9, Georgia Tech 5-8. Cal's 5-8 in conference play. Who has Cal beaten in conference play?
Probably those bottom, Miami and Florida State.
They beat Virginia, which Virginia's awful. They beat North Carolina State. How did North Carolina State get so bad, Chucky?
Oh no, they've not fired. I think Kevin Keats is still there.
And they went to the final.
Yeah,
They went.
did.
Well, wait. Last year though, they
took
were
the
bad.
Final Four.
They were bad last year, and they went on that run and won the ACC to get in the tournament. And didn't they win a couple tournament games too?
They went to the Final Four.
Yeah, they went to the Final Four. Yeah.
with the big dog.
Yeah.
So he's going to get, that bought him a lot of security.
Yeah, that Chucky, they beat Miami in overtime. I mean, I guess all things considered, 12-12 overall record and a sub 500 conference, I guess ain't terrible. Which has Cal ever been good in basketball? I can't really think I remember one good Cal basketball team.
Jason Kidd played for Cal. I remember in I guess that would have been the early '90s, and they were solid. Seems like they've had a couple of okay teams, but
I know, and when Pete Newell was coaching out there, who was Bobby Knight, was one of his disciples, they beat West Virginia when Jerry West was playing for West Virginia for the national championship in 1959.
This tells you how bad.
Going back, way back.
way back.
This tells you how bad the ACC is. When your sixth best team in your conference is Stanford. Do they even play basketball? Did they even play basketball in Stanford? Stanford is the sixth best team in the conference, who's 8-5, and they're 6-8, and North Carolina, who's next, is 14-12. How does Hubert survive this season?
Oh man.
I'd say the seat's pretty hot down there right
Let's does the ACC have the most national champions of any conference?
Duke, Louisville, North Carolina, Virginia. Has Pitt won a title?
NC State.
NC State's won a title.
Syracuse. Did you say Cal won one?
Cal did in basketball?
They beat West Virginia when Jerry West was there.
7.
Who else is down there on the bottom?
Miami hasn't. Boston College hasn't. Notre Dame hasn't won a basketball title. Florida State hasn't won a title. Yeah, 7.
It's a lot.
Let's check out the ACC. Then we'll go to break. That's good. That's a good question, Chucky. Solid question, Chucky.
So I would say Kentucky, Florida. Who else?
That might be it. Auburn hasn't won one. Bama hasn't won one. Wow. Well, I guess not to think about it. I mean, the SEC's not a.
Did Arkansas win one?
Arkansas, yes. When
Nolan Richardson was
yeah.
there.
Oklahoma and Texas hasn't won one. LSU, South Carolina. So, yeah, the SEC's only got 3.
And then the last one would be the Big Ten with Michigan. Did Michigan win one? They won one with Fisher, didn't they? Michigan State. Ohio State.
When did Ohio State win in basketball?
Early 60s. They had Jerry Lucas and
I guess that counts.
John Havlicek.
That's where most of yours come from.
Yeah, that's true. Daggone it.
Come on now.
Daggone Michigan was Indiana. You had 4.
Yeah.
Did Illinois never won one, did they?
Don't believe.
UCLA.
Yeah, they got 11.
Did you say UCLA?
No.
I did not.
So that 5. Michigan State, UCLA, Ohio State, Indiana, 5. Yep. Might as well check it. Might as well check out the Big 12. The Big 12's are they going to be close while we're here?
Kansas.
Everybody's falling short in that conference. Houston fell short.
Kansas and Baylor.
Kansas, Baylor, Arizona's in there now.
Arizona.
Did Oklahoma State win one year?
Not that I'm aware.
I think they won it when they were called Oklahoma A&M when Hank Iba was coaching.
Okay.
Count it.
Yeah.
What would we do without
Put
this?
it on the board.
What would we do without this
Put
guy?
it on the board.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and get to our next break here on the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show. Glad everybody's tapping in with us this evening on the
So
screen.
would
We'll be right back
A&M
with
count
14
with
NWA
one?
fill in.
Are you in the market for a new ride? Then look no further than Tim Short Ford of Hazard, your trusted local car dealership. With a wide selection of top-notch vehicles, we've got something for everyone. We're open from business Monday through Friday from 9 to 7 and Saturdays from 9 to 5. Need assistance? Give us a call at 877-821-4853. That's Tim Short Ford, located conveniently on the Hal Rogers Parkway in Hazard. Attention Harlan County. When your car needs expert care, there's only one name you need to know, Rex Tech Tire and Auto, located in Baxter. At Rex Tech, they're known for exceptional service and unmatched automotive knowledge. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil changes, or major repairs, they get the job done right the first time. The team of skilled technicians goes above and beyond to keep you on the road safely and confidently. If you've got questions, they've got answers. Clear, honest, and professional every step of the way. Rex Tech, 573-4110.
We're back, folks. Bluegrass Sports Talk Show. We're on 105.1 WTUK Wild Country Radio. Shout out to AMW Wrestling last 2 weeks for coming on with us. Showing some love. The wrestlers was good to listen to. Had a big show. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Green Bay was there. Ringside.
Unsurprising.
Harlan County's Macho Man.
The Harlan County Macho Man was there. He did not get challenged to the ring, which I thought was interesting.
Now, I wasn't here last week, but I did get some clips sent to me about somebody trash talking me, and that sounds about right that they would trash talk me without me being here.
They did. They gave you all the smoke, Chucky. So defend yourself. What was your commentary on it?
Take the heat, Chuck.
I don't know what they were saying was. They said I said something stupid the week before, but
They did say, gosh.
Talk about a guy when he's out of the room, trying to take care of
When
things.
he's down.
Yeah,
Little weak, ain't it?
yeah.
So does that mean you're going to be hopping in the ring next time they come around?
No, that's not what that means at all. It just means that
You were paying attention.
yeah.
Fun fact about the Super Bowl, Kentucky related. So Darian Kennard, offensive lineman from a couple years ago, he was on the 2018 Kentucky team. He became the second player ever this past Sunday to win 3 straight Super Bowls.
Really?
Second player ever.
So he was on the Chiefs the last 2.
Yes, and he just happened to be on the Eagles. So I mean that's an interesting fact. I didn't get the name of the other guy though that had won the other 3. That was an interesting stat.
You brought up a name earlier, Rhett. That's in an interesting situation to me, and that is Dalton Connect.
Yes, he is an interesting situation.
How do you feel and act if you're Dalton Connect and the Lakers trade you?
Then they have to take you back.
Take back.
And Mark Williams, the guy that they want, fails his physical, and the Lakers are like, no, we can't
Take
take him, and then you have to go back to the Lakers, who didn't want you, and play and finish the season.
How do you act?
That's par for the course. That soap opera that the Lakers operating out there.
Which is weak. I mean, I felt they've kind of won the trades though here recently, ain't they?
Yeah, I thought, for the short term that the Mavericks, on the Mavericks side, that it could work out a little bit. And then you see Davis go down. Game 1 in a non-contact. I don't even know what happened to him.
His pulled a groin, looked like.
He didn't get hit.
No. You just kind of see him grab his area and he was done.
I mean, he's just injury prone, ain't he?
He is. What you got, Jody?
I got a great trivia question here.
Okay.
There's 5 players that have won a Heisman, a Super Bowl, and a college national championship.
A Heisman, okay. Super Bowl.
And a college
And
championship.
a college national championship.
Yep.
Heisman. Well, it's not Peyton Manning.
Nope.
Devontae Smith's won.
Yes, he is.
Smitty.
He won the Super Bowl last Sunday. He won the Heisman in 2020. And he won his national championship.
Winners.
Dorset.
Alabama.
Dorset was one.
Tony Dorsett was one. He won
Look
the
at
Heisman.
Red.
In
Yeah.
Look at Red.
He won the Heisman with Pitt in 1976. And they won the championship in 76. And he was played for the Cowboys when they won the Super Bowl. That's 2.
Did Reggie Bush win?
Yes.
There you go, Chucky.
There's 3. Reggie Bush won the Heisman in 2005. Won his Super Bowl with the Saints. And his college championship with who did he play college ball?
USC.
Southern Cal. Yep. There's 2 more.
So, let's see. 2 more Heisman winners.
I wanted to say Cam Newton, but Cam Newton lost in the Super Bowl.
Lost in the Super Bowl.
You would be correct when you say that.
Hurts got snubbed at the Heisman, but he won both a Super Bowl and a college football champion. He was runner-up for the Heisman.
He got close. But he's not one of the 5.
I mean, this is like football royalty if you're one of these 5 people.
There's 2 more.
What, can you give us a decade? Like 80s, 90s?
One of them, well, one from the 90s. It was a controversial win
Okay.
of the Heisman.
Who's the guy that won over
So
Peyton Manning?
who beat Peyton was
You're right on the edge.
The guy. Who was the guy that beat Peyton?
dang.
I know you know it, Chucky.
Shoot, I know. Who is it, Jody? Help us. Who was it?
Played at Michigan. That's all the
Oh,
hits I'm gonna
Desmond
give.
Howard.
No.
But it's I get him and Desmond Howard mixed up.
Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson, yeah.
Won,
I get Charles Woodson
Yep.
and Desmond Howard mixed up.
he won his Heisman in '97, and he won his Super Bowl with the Packers. And one more, boys.
What decade?
Goes back to the '80s, early '80s.
Early 80s. Bo Jackson did not.
This is a great question, by the way.
It is a good question. Early 80s. Doug Flutie did not win.
That's a good guess.
What position?
I'd say running back.
He was a running back. You're right. You're all over it.
Dickerson. I don't think he won that.
No.
Herschel was before then. Golly.
The 80s was a running back dominated era, I think. 80s and early 90s till we got to the mid 90s, I think. Then it started being the quarterbacks.
I ain't gonna get it.
Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen. That's good.
Won his Heisman in '81, won his Super Bowl with the Raiders, and played for Southern Cal.
Joe, you've had a lot of good trivia questions on the show over the years, but that one's a top tier one.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get to our last break here on the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show here on 1410 WHOA tonight. We'll be right back with you, folks. Stay tuned.
Attention Harlan County. When your car needs expert care, there's only one name you need to know, Rex Tech Tire and Auto, located in Baxter. At Rex Tech, they're known for exceptional service and unmatched automotive knowledge. Whether it's tires, brakes, oil changes, or major repairs, they get the job done right the first time. The team of skilled technicians goes above and beyond to keep you on the road safely and confidently. If you've got questions, they've got answers. Clear, honest, and professional every step of the way. Rex Tech, 573-4110. Are you in the market for a new ride? Then look no further than Tim Short Ford of Hazard, your trusted local car dealership. With a wide selection of top-notch vehicles, we've got something for everyone. We're open from business Monday through Friday from 9 to 7 and Saturdays from 9 to 5. Need assistance? Give us a call at 877-821-4853. That's Tim Short Ford, located conveniently on the Hal Rogers Parkway in Hazard.
Back, folks. Final segment here on the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show here on 1410 WHLN. Going back toward the Cats, Mark. So yesterday before the game, ESPN was set up in Lexington for basically a.
Yeah, I saw that. They was there all day.
They was Lexington remote.
They did men's and women's teams.
They did. Mark Stoops came on the air as well.
What did the old football coach have to say, Rich?
Breaks his silence and basically says, he basically said what everyone else already knew, that Kentucky wasn't good enough, nor did they hold it up to the standard. We knew that already, didn't we, Chucky?
You know what the standard is?
What?
The standard.
The standard.
Yeah. Oh man, Stoops. I think I need more of a break from him.
Are you saying?
Maybe July.
Is his press conferences worse than Cal's?
He's starting to wear thin, man.
Yeah.
He's starting to wear thin. What do you think?
I mean, there's been a steady decline the past 3 seasons. And the previous, like the off seasons, have all kind of leading up to the seasons, all been kind of given the same message. Like last season was the most talented team he's had been assembled at Kentucky, best receiving core ever, quarterback play. Jody's. We love Freddie to death. But Freddie said, what not last year's quarterback, but
It was the year before.
David Leary. He said David Leary was the most accurate passer he'd ever seen. I just
He couldn't hit that garbage can.
no. He though at least he got drafted. Brock Vandergrift straight retired from football. So I mean, one quarterback that's actually fit the mold in the last 3 years at the portal, and now we're going to have a 7th-year senior in Zach Calzada. I don't know. He's got some decent wins on his resume, but
He can't do any worse, Rich. You got to look on the bright side.
It's true.
we lose Dane Key and Barry and Brown. I mean, for what I don't know what's true and what not. Were they cancerous behind the scenes? I don't know. I mean, when one's going to LSU and the other one's going to Nebraska to play in, what's their coach's name?
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule's off. But you replace him with Louisiana Tech's wide receiver, and
Well, you got a receiver coming in from Boyle County. He'd be a freshman. I won't say Montanero, but that ain't right.
Quisenberry.
Yeah, Quisenberry. He's a Wandale Robinson.
He is.
Reminds me of him.
And I'll be.
And he's an athlete. He's quicker than a cat. He's gonna do good things down there in Lexington.
I want Mark Stoops though to
use him.
use him.
I'm interested to see how they're using.
So this is going to be this is the first season since 2019 that Kentucky will have the same offensive coordinator as they had the year prior. What can you all believe that?
Is that a good thing or bad?
It should be a good thing.
Yeah. Theoretically, you're exactly right.
It should be a good thing.
Well, technically, Eddie Grant was the OC the 2020 season for COVID, and then finally that's when they brought in Kiffin in 2021. But nevertheless, okay, so the first is 2020. The first is 2020. You've had the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row, which is an insane stat. Do you think there's any other? Is that like a country record? 5 years, 5 different OCs.
Along with that, how much of a weirdo is Liam Cohen?
He's an odd duck, is he not?
Yeah.
But he's kind of built his brand to the top, though, with what he's done.
I mean, I'd never really heard him talk a lot, even when he was at Kentucky.
But
until his interviews when he was hired as the head coach of the Jaguars from the Bucks. Strange dude.
He's where he wanted to be, obviously, though. I mean, It's been pretty clear cut that he hasn't. He had no one to be in the college.
Yeah, that was his agenda. He wanted to be a NFL head coach. There he is.
He made it.
Congratulations.
You've left us hungry.
But I mean, did we see enough out of Hamadon
Hambone
to leave us wanting more, Jody?
Buddy,
or was it just the pieces that he had?
Vandergrift. Well, here's my thing though. If you have multiple starting quarterbacks, what's the old saying, Jody?
You don't have one.
You don't have a
you
quarterback.
got problems.
So my thing is our offense from game to game, you didn't really know exactly what was going on. We didn't even have an offense. It was almost like we'd show up this game and you'd have both Vandergrift and Wimsatt playing, and Wimsatt would check in and do a quarterback draw immediately, and then he'd be out of the game. We only had one game last year to where our offense looked like it was anything, and it was debatably at Ole Miss. I mean, on the road, and actually had a really good defense. We actually looked the part. That's the only offensive game that Kentucky had the entire season last year. It really made no sense.
And it was a kind of a game too that it felt like Stoops kind of said, "This is what you want. Here you go. I'll give it to you." And it was almost out of spite, and it worked.
Yeah.
Especially with that fourth down call.
4th and 9 on the 7.
Yeah.
Straight go route to Barry and Brown down
Yeah.
the sidelines, and it worked. So it made, and you look at the season, they ended up finishing 4-8, not going bowl eligible, and season left a lot of what ifs. And
4-8.
4-8 for a team that went in with a lot of expectation and hope. You change around you started off you started off 2-2, and one of your losses is getting blown out 30-6 in the SEC home opener to South Carolina. That's the problem, is that the season never got off to. It literally started off in a derailment, and it was just like you go down and beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss in the third highest ranked win in school history. It's the craziest part about that. Chucky, is that not kind of like crazy to realize that is the third highest ranked win in school history? Jody.
Red, are you prepared to make a way too early prediction for the 25 Wildcat football team?
Sure, 3-9 or 9, anywhere between 3-9 and 9-3. There you go.
Have you looked at the schedule?
I mean, yeah, 3-9. Well, here's one thing he has done, Jody. He's rebuilt the line of scrimmage. They've brought in 6 offensive lineman transfers.
Everyone Giants.
They completely cleaned house. You have to have a offensive line to win in the SEC, and that's where they've lacked the past 3 years. It's been horrible, absolutely horrible. You look at year 1 Will Levis to year 2 Will Levis, not even comparable. You know why? Year 1 Will Levis had the best offensive line in the country. Year 2 Will Levis, they had probably the worst offensive line in the SEC. Is that a fair assessment? I think so.
Yeah. So, what you got a number in mind for the 25 Wildcats for win and loss?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's.
I mean, this is not your official prognostication. This is just a way too early prognostication.
Chucky, it's so weird because you don't know what you don't know what type of production is going to be there.
No idea.
I don't trust Mark Stoops, but I mean, I'm getting a weird urge that he's trying to reform back to his more older ways of really good offensive line and trying to run the ball 25 times a game. I've been getting that vibe out of it. What do have you paid any attention, Chucky, or you just?
No, I've not. I've just a little frustrated with it, so I've not looked at a whole lot.
Jody, their schedule is Toledo. Here's their non-conference: Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Tennessee Tech, and Louisville. They haven't beat Vandy in 3 years. No. They beat Vandy last year. They haven't beat Vandy in Lexington in 4 seasons. They've won the past 2 in Nashville and lost the past 2 in
They
Lexington.
dropped 3 in a row to South Carolina.
Yes, a team that Stoops had kind of dominated.
Till recently.
So at my 8:43 p.m. February 12th analysis of the Kentucky football schedule, Toledo, Tennessee Tech, and so 3-0 to those guys. Ole Miss comes to Lexington.
With revenge on their mind. That loss probably kept Ole Miss out of the college football playoff.
You know what?
Sure.
Just to get all of our hopes up to crush us, I'm going to say Kentucky starts off 3-0. Lose to South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, 4 straight. Lose at Auburn, 5 straight. Florida, Kentucky. Kentucky gets revenge over Florida because I don't think Florida's will be any better either. So 4 wins. Tennessee at Vandy. I would say they come back. I don't know. Depends on how Vandy finishes out last game of the year. How far is Diego Pavia carried the Commodores next year? I'm gonna say they lose to Louisville. I don't know how they're going to be. So I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 and 7?
No, 6-6
Oh,
with Van.
okay.
Now that reflecting back to last year, I think Vegas doesn't have a clue about Kentucky either. I think that's why they gave them that
Heck,
true
Kentucky doesn't have a clue about
true
Kentucky.
6-6 projection, because you really, I mean, if the 6-6 was Kentucky's over and under again, Chucky, you're taking the over the under this year.
Right now, probably the under.
They have they have the second early by FPI or football projections. Kentucky has the second hardest schedule in college football. Ole Miss, at South Carolina, at Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, at Auburn, Florida, at Vandy. Louisville's top 25 team. That's insane, ain't it? That's
Yeah, it's
insane.
tough. And you could go down through the list with any of those others too, and it's be the same.
So that's what you get. I mean, if you want to play in the big leagues, you gotta prepare for it. So
I think Stoops is feeling a little extra heat because of the little brother up the road. Jeff Brown's won 10 games his first year at Louisville and 9 games last year. So he's off to a flying start.
it's a good question, Chucky. If you're what's Stoops' it was like ridiculous. What's Stoops' buyout like? It wasn't like 30 million or something.
Thought it was 43 last year.
43 million. So I mean,
Does it go down every year,
I
or
guess
is it always the same?
it's a good question. I have no idea.
Go.
Stoops has a heck of an agent though. Stoops has the best contract of any coach in the country. Any wins set once he went 7 wins, every win 7 or more, he gets a $250,000 bonus for each win.
He needs to not worry. He needs to worry less about what's going on 70 miles up the road and who's breathing down his neck down in Louisiana, in Tulane.
You think Summerall's still gonna be the next coach?
I would hope so.
I saw some message boards on this and stuff that people think that Summerall stayed at Tulane because of the Kentucky job, to try and holding out for the Kentucky job. You think that's true, or do you think Bill Belichick coming to North Carolina had a lot to do with that as well?
Well, what job? What was he up for?
The North Carolina job.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going to hire Bill Belichick.
And that's exciting. I think it's kind of exciting though for college football.
What do you think he'll do down there in the land of the Tar Heels?
That money going to be flowing. He's hired a general manager. I asked this question, I think, last week before. Will North Carolina, that's what I'm saying. That's what I wonder about Hubert Davis. Will North Carolina let their football brand become bigger than their basketball brand?
That's something you thought you'd never say.
What's your thoughts about that, Chucky?
That's a good question.
I mean, like, I know Bill Belichick, he made his career in the NFL, but I mean, like, in terms of the coaching ranks, who's the big Bill Belichick or Hubert Davis?
Yeah, obviously, but I think if you ask any school, would you rather have a football powerhouse or a basketball powerhouse? I think they would always go football.
Yeah. You think North Carolina though?
I think they would. I think if you give them would you rather win a football national championship or a basketball championship? I think every school is going to pick, unbiased, if they're not just saying, I'll pick basketball like Duke. I'll pick basketball because we'll never win a football. But if you give them a choice, they would all pick football, I think.
Well, especially after the SEC. No, I agree. But there's something about that North Carolina brand.
The Jordan brand, yeah.
Yeah, the Duke brand. Let's be honest. North Carolina's weird too, because it's almost like North Carolina always hires in-house. Now, was Roy though? Was he an assistant with Dean Smith before being the head coach at Kansas?
Yeah, he may have.
I think so.
I know he was assistant. I don't know if did he play some there? I don't know.
Yeah, he played there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder though, would North Carolina break from them in-house hires?
I don't know. They tried. What was his name? Matt Doherty.
Matt Doherty. Yeah.
In between Dean Smith, and he was a disaster. I think maybe they got maybe 2 years out of him before Roy Williams, 2 or 3 years. But he didn't last long. I don't.
Do you think Shire with Duke? How long do you think Shire will be? Do you think he'll be that Duke for as long as he wants to be?
It's trending.
I feel like, yeah.
It's trending that way.
You've had Cooper and Flip now and back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, and then next year you'll have the Boozer twins, and I think he's. I was pretty skeptical about him, but I think he's coming into his own a little bit. You see him. You see him when Clemson rushed the court,
Protecting the guys.
shoving the fans off, and he's getting he's coming into his own. I feel like their offense is a little. I just can't believe Cooper Flag fell down again.
He knows. Get that man some new
Oh
shoes.
my
Get that man
God.
some new shoes or something.
Such 3 losses. In all 3, they've had the ball with a chance to go up
Yeah.
in the closing seconds.
Outside of Clemson.
And he's failed twice and spun back into the lane once and got it took from him.
Yeah. And 2 of Duke's only 3 losses come from 2 of the other blue blood brands of college basketball in Kentucky and Kansas. You know, I said this last week too. It's like the ACC this year is like the SC, how the SEC was with Kentucky there about 10, 12 years ago when it was literally just Kentucky and Florida, maybe a little bit of Tennessee, and everybody else was absolutely horrendous. Like I think that day, like Kentucky would be winning the league by like 5 or 6 game margins. It would be close.
I think with the SEC being as strong from top to bottom, leaving out the bottom 3, the schedule that they play in the regular season will make them tournament ready.
Oh, yeah.
And it would not surprise me if you had at least 2 SEC teams in the Final Four, maybe 3. Now, I don't think that's a stretch at all.
No.
And a lot of those SEC teams, too, play a physical style of ball that's going to show up in tournament time. It's more physical in tournament time
Yes,
than it is in the regular season.
And by the way, I'm just using Arkansas as an example. You said the bottom 3. Arkansas is the 3rd. Well, they're not the last. They're 14th ranked out of 16. Arkansas is, and they've after that rough start. I mean, their wins. They've beat Kentucky. They gave Alabama all they wanted the other night.
It would not surprise me if they got a tournament bid.
LSU's 3-7 too. They've played everybody tough, and even South Carolina. I know Kentucky blew them out the other night, but South Carolina, they're 0-10 in the conference, but they've played. They lost to A&M by 4. They are beating Ole Miss right now in Columbia. Arkansas, no, South Carolina. South Carolina's beating Ole Miss, and Ole Miss just routed Kentucky there the other day. They nearly beat Auburn. They lost to Auburn by 3 at home. They lost to Vandy by 3. They lost to Florida by 1. I mean, so it ain't like, even though they're 0-10, they're not like horrific 0-10. So like,
for all you Louisville fans out there, the Cardinals are beating up on the Wolfpack right now, 86-60 with 2 minutes to go.
I want to go back to the bracketology. I know we're running out of time, but I want to go back to the bracketology for a minute just to see if it's possible. Because I think it's this year's legitimately possible. Duke's really good. I think Duke's got all the. I think Duke has all the Final Four potential in the world, and I still think they're my Final Four. They're still my Final Four favorite too. But I think there's a legit possibility for an All SEC Final Four this year as well.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
Like,
that's not beyond the realm of possibility. Huh?
It's been a couple of years since we've had, like last year there was a lot of parity. When was the last time we had, let's see, that year, Coach K's Duke, North Carolina, was the Final Four Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, and Villanova? Was that the Final Four? No, not
It
Villanova.
wasn't Villanova.
Not Villanova.
I don't know who won it that year. North Carolina and
Well, yeah, it was Hubert's first year. Hubert beat, but North Carolina wasn't. They were like a 7 or 8 seed, right? They kind of.
I can't remember who they played in the championship.
They got beat by. Who did they get beat by in that championship? Was that Kansas?
I don't know.
What year was Coach Hayes last year? 20.
Probably 22.
2022. Final Four. 2022 Final Four. Yeah, Duke. I was right. Y'all said I was wrong. It was Duke, North Carolina, Villanova, and Kansas.
Villanova.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Kansas beat North Carolina out in the championship.
They drummed them, didn't they?
Yeah.
It wasn't close, was it?
No, look at me. Y'all. I have to pat myself. Sometimes, y'all gotta give me credit. Sometimes I pull out some stats that are on the money. I can. That's some things. Jody pulls out facts from the mid '50s, but I sometimes pull out the stats, the analytics. But this year,
Congratulations, Grasshopper.
I think Auburn's Final Four bound. I have a really hard time seeing them getting beat out.
I think Alabama's Final Four bound.
I don't think if this bracket happened right now, I don't think Baylor or Oregon can beat Auburn. I like St. John's, but I just don't think they can physically match up with them. Creighton, Michigan State, no shot. Houston's the king of falling short. I would take Auburn out of the South right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Out of the West, this is I think the bracket with the most I don't know if parity, I guess parity is the word. Tennessee the 1, A&M the 2. A&M's got potential. Clemson can play and beat anybody. That can be one of the possible 7-seed runs.
Those are at Clemson, too. Clemson's a
Yeah.
tough place to play. They've beat Kentucky and Duke both at Clemson.
Little John Coliseum.
Ohio State's shown the ability to beat good teams. Ole Miss is really good at the 5.
I don't know, man. That's
Tennessee.
trash.
That's who would you take out of the West? I'm not taking Tennessee because they got to be able to score. I would almost take Ole Miss from the 5 line to the Final Four possibly.
I don't know.
It's kind of hard to imagine Ole Miss playing for a national championship. Could the buzzsaw at A&M go all to the Final Four? Joe, pick somebody out of that region. If you had to pick right now, who would be your West region pick?
A&M.
A&M? It's fair. Chucky?
I don't know. I don't love any of those teams.
I don't either. I'm gonna take Ole Miss as my outlier. They're so athletic. They can score. I'd take Ole Miss, which is wild to me to say Ole Miss playing in a Final Four. They can't win a national title. I don't think any of them teams can win the title in that region.
Nah, I don't trust none of those.
But yeah, all right. Alabama, Purdue, Illinois, Kansas. You keep having faith in them, Chucky, and they keep losing.
Kansas?
Yeah.
I know.
I think Bama's going to be a tough out for you, but I'd take Bama. I'm taking Bama to the Final Four again.
I think Dickinson's just getting worse as it goes. I don't know.
Take Alabama.
Over Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd take Bama too. And then in the East,
The Beast.
the Beast of the East, in Newark, Duke, having to play UConn, Michigan, Kentucky, Louisville, Florida, golly, and then where's that? Duke versus I'd take Kentucky over Michigan, Sanford, Sweet 16. Cats versus Duke in the Sweet 16 rematch.
Is that when it would be? Sweet 16? Where
Yeah.
would that be at?
Newark. Newark. Yeah, that'd be a home game for Duke.
Yeah.
The East Coast.
Which Kentucky Wait, no, Kentucky beat Duke in Atlanta. That wasn't in.
They beat them in
Garden.
Atlanta.
Yeah, they beat them in Atlanta. I would take. Man, Florida's tough. I usually don't give Florida credit. I think Florida's really good, and they went into Auburn and kind of like shut Auburn down in Auburn in the jungle. What do you think?
I like Duke.
I think it'd be really tough for Kentucky to beat Duke and Newark, to be honest. Duke versus Florida Elite Eight, that'd be tough.
It'd be tough.
Florida's got Final Four potential too. Woo! We about lost. We about lost in live and in color. I would say I would go Duke, Alabama, Auburn. I don't know who in the world would come out of that West region. That is
No, they got to mix some of those Easts in with the Wests.
To be determined. Great show though. Enjoyed the WHLN stream. It's 9 o'clock. Believe it or not. Y'all believe it?
I believe it.
Jody believes it. I believe it.
Next week we'll be back on probably on WTUK next week. We'll have to do some finagling to the schedule because the Cats play on Wednesday next week. Cats play on Wednesday next week, so we'll look to have a Tuesday or Thursday show next week. That'll be TBD.
Remind everybody about the Sweet 16 contest.
Sweet 16 contest on the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show page. If you haven't entered your picks yet, you're basically picking the winner of each region. The regions are posted on there. We never do anything in basketball season, especially in high school. Fun to break the monotony, right, Chuck?
Oh yeah, I love picking.
That's right. Pickens. Jody, you got anything left for him?
Hey, be good sports fans. Get out and support your basketball players, the girls and the boys in the district tournament. It'll be here in about 10 days. And
that's so weird to say, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Going to be a lot of basketballs bounced in the next month. So be there or be square.
How many weeks is basketball season, Chucky? Is it 12 weeks? Like
January, February.
It's at least 12, yeah.
But is it just because there's just so many games played during the week that why it seems like it flies by? Because football season, I mean, it doesn't seem like basketball season's at the same length as football season.
I think I've been thinking about that, and I think what happens is at the beginning of basketball season, you got the Christmas break, New Year's,
yeah,
and everybody's the teams are kind of gone. They go to a tournament in North Carolina or Florida, or go to a tournament in Georgia.
I forget about them.
They're gone for a couple weeks, and then you come back January 2nd, and then it's just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. You're right. Well, folks, I do it tonight for the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show here on 1410 WHLN, first one ever. Thanks y'all for tuning in with us. We'll see y'all next week. Good night. God bless, and have a great evening, folks.
You've been listening to the Bluegrass Sports Talk Show on Live 105 WTUK.
Once again, flood watch for southeastern Kentucky in effect until 7 a.m. Thursday.
This forecast has been brought to you by Jewelcraft, Diamond